This is a production of Florida State University.
Coming up on FSU Headlines, Florida State University continues to climb the annual college rankings. Freshmen join Florida State's tradition of service, and the Seminoles are back in action. Stay tuned for these stories and much, much more. FSU Headlines starts now. Hello and welcome to another edition of FSU Headlines. I'm your host, Dennis Schnitker, coming to you from the heart of Florida State University in Tallahassee, inside the beautiful William Johnston building. Our top headline, Florida State University continues to climb the national college rankings. U.S. News and World Report ranks Florida State 26th among all public universities. But what's truly remarkable is that Florida State has outgained all others by rising 17 places in 3 years. FSU Headlines reporter Mark Vaughn has more.
It's great news for Florida State. It's something the Florida legislature really had a thought about a number of years ago about having two public universities in the top 25. We're on the precipice now. We're very close, being number 26. We're almost there, and I have every reason to believe we'll get there next year. But it's good for Florida State. It's good for our students. It's certainly good for the future students who come here and the past students who've been here to know that they're from a top-tier major research university in America, in the almost top 25. But the resources that the legislature have given us, the confidence the Board of Governors have given us, the metrics that we have been asked to meet, we've done all of those things, and it's because we have an incredible faculty, great students, and a staff that frankly gets up every single day and makes this university their number one priority. And I'm particularly proud of our provost staff. They've done a great job, and they've focused the attention on student success in the right places. And U.S. News and World Report, with their rankings and their measurement of those metrics, have said FSU is the number 26 university in America, and I couldn't be prouder.
Florida State University President John Thrasher put it best, because that's the sentiment of everyone at Florida State University with the news that Florida State has risen again in the national rankings, up to number 26 among public institutions. That ranking is part of U.S. News and World Report's Best Colleges 2019 guidebook.
We are so proud and so very pleased that we've moved up to number 26 in our drive to 25. We're almost there. And we actually moved up a little higher this year than we thought we might be able to. I think that's a testament to the very hard work of everybody across campus, a real focus on student success, on all of our folks working together to create a real family environment here where our students, our faculty, our staff feel at home and like to collaborate and work together. That's how we've gotten this far, and I think we're going to continue that climb next year.
That number has some big implications in terms of student success.
It shows you that the kind of approach we've taken has really paid off. It's been a very data-driven focus. We've looked very carefully at our student data, at all our research that tells us how we can best serve our students, how they can best graduate in a timely manner, what kinds of faculty numbers we need to add to get our class sizes to those that are best for teaching and learning, and how we can support our faculty and our staff in the big jobs they do. So every dollar, you can count on it. Every dollar has been looked at, and every dollar has been planned as an investment. And this new ranking of number 26 is a return on that investment.
The dedication by Florida State to give its students the best college experience from the classroom and beyond is paying big dividends. Just look at the metrics.
So focusing on graduation rate, last year we had the highest graduation rate of 4 years, 68.4% of any university in the state of Florida history. Our 6-year graduation rate this year, U.S. News has noted, is 79.5% overall, and 77% for our Pell students. That's extraordinary, and that's the story of FSU. We create an environment where everybody can succeed, and we provide the kinds of resources that we can to help people not only find their path, but provide them lots of support and challenges to be better as they go down that path.
The university has moved tremendously. No easy task when considering every other university is trying to do the same exact thing for its students. FSU has gone from number 43 among publics in 2016 to right on the doorstep of the top 25 in 2018. And while rankings are a recognition of success, the data says more than you may realize.
It's been a problem because FSU has always been a well-kept secret. We've always been really good. Now, have our investments in the last couple of years made us better? Yes, they have. But we've always been a terrific university, really caring about students, very student-oriented, and with great programs all across the curriculum, all across the campus, from medicine to dance. And it's great that more people around the country, are really starting to recognize just how fine an institution Florida State is, and in so many ways.
It represents quality. It represents the kind of students that we're attracting to Florida State. It represents the great faculty we have here. It represents the institutional caring for student success. It represents the fact that our students have gone out and done great things in the community. It represents the fact that we have invested in our faculty and our staff and our students. All of those things, I think, are important. And you know, we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it. And I think the idea is to get as high as you can go, because you know it's not just a number, but it's the quality, and it really rings true for the citizens of the state of Florida who want the investment that the legislature makes into our university system to have a positive return. We're showing that with these rankings, and I again couldn't be prouder of our team and everybody involved.
For FSU Headlines, I'm Mark Vaughn.
And the best colleges ranking may be a case of perception catching up to reality. Florida State University is truly a preeminent institution of higher education. 6,400 new students joined Florida State's family this fall, and what better way to offer a warm welcome than with the university's new Student Convocation ceremony. This celebration of Florida State traditions marks the beginning of these young people's college education. Take a look.
This is New Student Convocation. New Student Convocation is a time where all the students get to come together for that first time before their school year starts. They get to come together and see who they're going to be working with for the next 4 years, networking with, and really just getting excited about being a Florida State Seminole.
On behalf of our faculty, staff, and current FSU students, I welcome all of the students to the New Student Convocation.
I can't wait. I've been dreaming about this moment my whole life, from a small boy in the inner city, thinking that I wouldn't be able to go this far out to a huge university like this, and I'm just extremely blessed to be here, so I just can't wait to get my journey started.
These next few years are going to be simply amazing, I promise you. Coming to FSU will transform your lives forever. You've made a very wise decision to come to this great institution. In the words of Skipper from the Penguins of Madagascar, you are the elite of the elite.
I'm super excited, and hopefully soon I'm gonna be graduating in 4 years. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
3 torches on the Florida State seal, Veres, Artes, and Mores, represent some of the core values of the university: strength, skill, and character.
Be eternally curious and never stop asking questions. And in the immortal words of Monty Python, always look on the bright side of life.
You're in for a real treat, because we have the world-renowned marching chiefs in the background. God bless you! Go Noles! Go Noles!
Some of those incoming freshmen learn to lead and serve at Florida State before classes ever begin. Florida State University's Service Leadership Seminar gives participants a head start on success.
Have fun!
Each fall, 40 freshmen spend the week before classes begin learning about themselves, their classmates, and their new home here in Tallahassee.
You have to go through here.
Service Leadership Seminar teaches team building and service skills through activities and projects developed at Florida State's Center for Leadership and Social Change.
They learn about all of the different service organizations at Florida State University, as well as what service learning looks like and how to be impactful while doing service.
The students started with games and workshops to build communication, planning, and other skills at the Res, Florida State's outdoor recreation area on beautiful Lake Bradford. Then the freshmen divided into small groups to put their skills into practice out in the community during the service portion of the Service Leadership Seminar.
FSU's SLS program, it really correlated with my beliefs and values of trying to understand everyone's perspective.
Amazing group of students. To learn more about Florida State University's Center for Leadership and Social Change, visit it online at thecenter.fsu.edu. Florida State University is one of the nation's top research institutions, and as such, it's home to more than just undergraduate students.
Welcome to FSU Graduate School. What a place to come to. You picked the right place.
Even the graduate student can use a refresher course now and again. Each year, Florida State welcomes a large group of advanced degree seekers during the graduate student orientation to help them get acquainted, not with college in general, but certainly with their new home. New grad students learn all about Florida State during the day-long event. Aside from meeting new people and learning about the university's many resources, the dean of Florida State's graduate school, Mark Riley, says orientation can play an important role in jump-starting a grad student's academic career while demonstrating how important they are to the university's mission.
Graduate school really transforms everything in your life. They're stars when they come here to FSU. It's our job to help them shine brighter.
Many of the graduate students tell us Florida State's grad school orientation session is worthwhile, even though they've obviously experienced success on a college campus before.
It was really helpful to learn about different opportunities and things we can do on campus outside of just doing research that really makes you feel like part of the community.
Coming up next on FSU Headlines, first-year medical students receive an iconic symbol of their new profession.
They just completed their first semester of medical school and they're here for their white coat ceremony to don the symbol of the medical profession.
We'll take you to the white coat ceremony when FSU Headlines continues in a moment.
We are Florida State University.
When you buy a Florida State University license plate,
you're not just showing your school spirit.
You're supporting students like us.
In the lab,
in the classroom,
and in the library.
Putting this tag on your vehicle helps Florida State students achieve their dreams. So show your pride. Purchase an FSU license plate today.
Welcome back to FSU Headlines. I'm Dennis Schnitker. Florida State University is home to one of the nation's top medical schools. The College of Medicine is the most selective in Florida and the only medical school in the country in the top 10 for both African American and Hispanic enrollment. The college recently presented its newest students, the class of 2022, with one of the profession's most recognizable and most important symbols. Take a look.
We are here at the Ruby Diamond Auditorium to celebrate a wonderful event in the history of the class of 2022. They just completed their first semester of medical school and they're here for their white coat ceremony to don the symbol of the medical profession.
It's a very special day. I've been waiting so long for this moment and it's finally here.
The white coat is a symbol of faith. I read in a book once, it's the hope plus work equal faith.
Jacoy Hawley.
And the white coat is just that symbol that it paid off. You know, you had hope that someday you'll get into med school, and then you put in the work, and now here we are. And this is just a reminder of that for me.
Angie Ferrer Estupinan.
They've been here for 2 weeks working really, really hard, and now their reward comes through as they watch their classmates all receive their white coats together.
One of the reasons why I came to Florida State was because of its mission to serve minority populations. As a Hispanic student, for me to wear the white coat, that means that I could celebrate and represent other minorities in the field of medicine.
Now entering the study of medicine.
I think the one thing I always tell myself, you know, as I prepared for this moment to get the white coat, was to remember to stay humble. Every physician has to go through this, and this is just the beginning for me. You know, this is the spark, and now is the journey. The journey really begins now.
Our next headline: Florida State University researchers can predict the formation of new chemical compounds by using artificial intelligence. It's an interesting idea that could lead to some big breakthroughs in chemical science. Check it out.
And there are formulas? Yeah, and there's formulas. The problem is some of
Physical sciences, right? They rely on facts and data and observations and measurements. And every day we generate lots of data points in every lab. Essentially this project came about from asking a question, you know, if we have so many data points regarding the crystal structures, and we have millions of data points if you take all known crystal structures, why can't we just take those data and do some meaningful statistical analysis to try to predict crystal structures, to approach making new materials in a more systematic and predictable way, instead of just using heuristics and, you know, knowledge that we accumulate in our heads over years and try to apply that to find a new material.
The model that I created that the paper's about, it essentially is just looking at a bunch of examples of how different elements, like how they exist in known structures.
We wanted to shift from a more experience-based discovery of materials to more fact-based discovery, if you will.
So what this does is it looks at hundreds of thousands of examples of different atoms and what element exists in the center, and just based on the arrangement of the neighboring atoms and without knowledge of what elements they are, it tries to make predictions of what element should exist there. So what that does is it gives it intuition about what types of arrangements of atoms make sense for different elements. You start to kind of discover chemistry purely just based on distributions of neighbors in examples of structures.
We don't say that this method will necessarily tell you, okay, you have 100% chance to make this compound. No, it's not going to work like that. But it will tell us that there is a higher likelihood to find a new material if you try to make this composition, right? So that's probabilistic method as any statistical methods, and that's essentially what we're looking into.
It's very exciting. I guess I get the most excitement out of seeing kind of chemists utilize the program I've written to kind of see things, and the real measure of success for me is when like solid state chemists, if they see predictions made by the program and they're kind of excitedly talking about why or why not different things would work, but the fact that there is excitement and that it's almost like a sounding board for their ideas, and it kind of helps them kind of come up with novel ideas just by looking at the results. So it's not even just as simple as this program will be able to just give you the right answers, but it's kind of like interacting with this kind of idea engine.
The research could radically change how chemists identify, test, and study potential new compounds for any variety of materials, medicines, or other products. The machine learning model relies on a neural network similar to the technology that powers map and voice recognition software. Florida State University's new Jim Moran Building in downtown Tallahassee is earning recognition for its architecture. The beautifully renovated structure opened to much fanfare from the campus community and is home to the Jim Moran School of Entrepreneurship and the Jim Moran Institute for Global Entrepreneurship. The American Institute of Architects in Florida presented its Merit Award of Excellence for renovations and additions to the building's architects. The group commended architects Lewis and Whitlock for transforming the 19th century building in downtown Tallahassee into a state-of-the-art home for entrepreneurial education. Designed to operate as an urban hub, the Moran Building connects students and entrepreneurs with faculty members and mentors. Job well done. Beautiful. Florida State University's annual Festival of the Fine and Performing Arts is back for another outstanding season. The Opening Nights Performing Arts Series returns to Florida State this fall with multiple performances. Acts making the way to Tallahassee this season includes the Temptations and the Four Tops, comedian Brian Regan, and the Boston Pops, just to name a few.
One of the things that bringing culture from around the world to Tallahassee does is it allows our community to have a better sense of what's happening globally. Artists have an ability to talk about the nuances of their culture from the proscenium arch. A classic example of that would be last year's Yo-Yo Ma the Silk Road Ensemble, a group of musicians from all around the world who basically use music as the common language. We can do that frequently with artists when they're on our stages to let our community have a better handle on what's happening in the world around them.
An important component of opening nights is the Masterclass and Kennedy Center Partnership educational outreach programs. Visiting artists and performers take their skills into the classrooms of Florida State University and Leon County schools to educate students of all ages. For more information about performances and tickets, check it out online at openingnights.fsu.edu. Still to come on FSU Headlines, football is back with a brand new attitude. We'll take a look at how all the fall sports programs are doing when FSU Headlines continues in a moment. Welcome back to FSU Headlines and welcome back to Florida State University. I'm Dennis Schnittker. It's my favorite time of the year. A new semester means there's plenty to do on campus, and that includes football. And of course, I'm talking about football on the soccer pitch. FSU Headline reporter Mark Vaughn joins me now to talk about the highly ranked Seminoles and the hot start the team is off to. Mark?
Hey Dennis, yeah, the Seminoles off to a very hot start in the 2018 campaign. Up to number 3 in the national polls with wins over UCLA and of course the rival Florida Gators to start off the 2018 season. The Seminoles got off to a 7-0-1 start in the 2018 season, setting a program record with 4 consecutive shutouts to start the year before tie with USC and then giving up just 1 goal to UCLA before following that up with 2 more shutouts, and the Noles definitely look like a team to reckon with this season. The Noles keep on winning at the Seminole Soccer Complex at home too. The ACC slate, though, during the month of September and the month of October will really test Florida State and show if the team is ready to take a stand in the ACC with the conference title on the line, and of course, even more possibly on the line this year too. Of course, the women's soccer team joins the other athletic teams this year in celebrating 50 years of women's intercollegiate athletics at Florida State University with lots of events and reunions planned for all women's sports. You can head to Seminoles.com/50th for more information. Of course, that'll be updated throughout the year with all those events and reunions. Now to football and the beginning of the Willie Taggart era. It didn't get off to a resounding start with the loss to Virginia Tech on opening night, but the Noles did bounce back with a win at home in the second weekend of the season. It was a quick turnaround against Samford out of Birmingham, Alabama, and probably better that that game was just 5 days after that opening Labor Day loss. Quickly move on to a win, they say. The Noles taking home a 36-26 win at home in Doak to give Coach Taggart his first as the Seminoles head coach. A bit sloppy game, though, for 3 quarters for the Florida State Seminoles. Not quite in the groove just yet on the young season, but showing some signs on defense for sure. Florida State picking off the Bulldogs 4 times in the game, and the last one, probably the most important one, coming in the 4th quarter, that taken back for a pick 6, sealing the win for the Noles. Florida State definitely needing that win to avoid a major upset in college football. Taking a little bit of momentum into ACC play with Coach Taggart's first win as the head coach at Florida State. The ACC, though, tough the rest of the way through the heart of the season, on the road at Syracuse in the next game, and a tough ACC slate through October. We'll see how the Noles do from here on out.
It's just consistency. You know, I think when you watch us play in the first 2 ball games, we'll have some good runs or some good pass plays, and then we'll follow it up with something bad. It just hadn't been consistent when it comes to executing it, but it showed our guys they can do it. We just got to lock in. I think a big part of it is being disciplined. I think that's something that we have to be in order to correct the mistakes that we're making, being disciplined in our techniques, disciplined in our fundamentals, and to me that's where we have to get better at, especially on the offensive line. Is getting better fundamentally and technically, and that's on us as coaches to get them better and coach them up, and it's on our players to go out and execute better than what we have.
Finally, in sports, we go indoors and let's talk some volleyball. The Florida State volleyball team shut out Southern Miss and Florida A&M to close out the team's 3-0 weekend at the Home 2 Suites by Hilton Tallahassee Seminole Invitational. FSU improves to 4-4 on the young season, yet to surrender a single set in any of its 4 victories this year. That bodes well for the Noles when they're playing well. The Noles finally getting some home matches after starting the year on the road in a few tournaments far and wide. FSU looking for some new faces to step up this season as they replace some veterans from just a year ago. They'll quickly pick up the reins and have to grow up fast as the tough ACC season approaches. Once the weather turns down a little bit, so will the heat of the competition as it turns up. You can be sure of that as the ACC teams come to town and the Noles visit them on the road. All right, that's going to do it for sports, but remember you can keep up with all things Seminole athletics by visiting Seminoles.com. That's it for me. Let's send things back to you.
That's going to do it for this edition of FSU Headlines, but you can see more news from Florida State University anytime at news.fsu.edu. It's the official news website of Florida State University. For everyone here at Florida State, I'm Dennis Schnitker. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.